It's easy to get caught up in who was in the Ben Hill Holler on June 15th, 2021 when Summer Wells went missing. But what if the most damning clue wasn't who stayed, but who left? Law enforcement scoured the Holler, walked its twisted paths, and declared they found no sign of Summer or evidence of an accident. But if you look closely, not at who was present, but at who vanished around the same time Summer vanished, you begin to understand. The story isn't written in presence, it's written in absence. And maybe, just maybe, the real monster wasn't hiding in the Holler. It was escaping it.
Damn, killer. It's so good.
The FedEx driver almost hit a red truck that cut it out in front of him, and that was the FedEx driver who'd seen a little blonde girl in their truck. So that was, I think, where the original look out for the red truck came from.
Okay.
That truck, that maroon truck that they was looking for.
Yeah.
Johnny Shoes was driving the damn thing. That little Toyota truck.
He's still driving it? Or
I know it was her mom was driving it.
so she was driving around that maroon truck around that time?
Mm-hmm.
She was.
Because it was 2 days later, she come in the holler and moving her stuff out from Randy's. Driving that truck.
This 2 days after Summer went missing?
Well, after y'all come that day.
Oh.
It was 2 or 3 days after that, she gave me a ride in the holler.
And she was driving that truck.
In that yellow truck. We broke down to the front of the holler. And she just gave me a ride on up here because I was trying to get his truck on in the holler. And she gave me a ride on up here. And we hadn't seen that truck until that night. And Fred's like, did you realize what truck that was? I said, yeah. I said, that's that damn maroon truck we're looking for, ain't it?
Yeah.
He said, yeah. He said, Jody Sue's the one that made that comment about him not finding the ladder rack.
Oh my God.
Said all they have to do is take the ladder rack off of it.
This is on, supposedly, like I said, on June 15th, the day Summer Wells went missing. A little bit strange, abandoned maroon truck in the middle of the road.
South Tech Road, so off of the Wednesday, it's going to be about 3/4 of a mile down South Tech. There's a maroon truck, appears to be abandoned, partially in the roadway.
The person on this call says, there appears to be a maroon truck. A maroon truck appears to be abandoned partially on the roadway. Now, if you remember, from the beginning part of when Summer Wells went missing, there was this maroon truck that was always attached to her being missing.
A person came forward and they found this truck on their trail cam, and they gave it to it's either FBI or the TBI, and they have this information now. And what they said, there's a little story with what was shown on this trail cam. And what it was a man was in the truck, and there was 2 children in the bed of the truck. And one of the things that stood out for me is in the explanation that the truck turned around, backed into the neighbor driveway near Big Elm Road in Churchill, Tennessee. When the truck backed in to turn around, the kids were sitting up in the bed. The man said something to them, and the kids lay down in the truck bed. Then the truck took off. The color of the truck was red, and the plate could not be made out.
I was sitting here one day, and my husband calls me, and he says, I need to tell you something. I said, okay, is there something wrong? He says, no, there's nothing wrong. He says, but you know that Summer Wells case that you've been following? I said, yeah. I said, what about it? He said, well, the guy that I work with is actually dating the social worker that's involved with this case. And I was like, oh.
She's not just a social worker controlling the case, but she is controlling the youngest child of the Wells, of the boys.
That's unbelievable.
She's actually like, she's a psychologist, social worker. She works for CPS, but she's also a licensed therapist as well.
Okay. Right, so he I don't know of the other children, but I know that he is actually in what they call an Isaiah house. And this child, she says that he just kind of stares at walls and he doesn't talk much, and he's just kind of zoned out majority of his day. So they have a hard time even getting him to respond to anything they say to him.
This is the youngest boy.
Right.
Okay.
So he goes on to tell me, and I'm like, well, let me talk to the guy you work with, because I want to hear this from him, So I get on the phone with him, and I start asking him, what do you know about this? And he's like, well, she's dead. I said, well, how do you know that? He said, because my girlfriend is the social worker that deals with the youngest child. He's in what they call an Isaiah house, and he's traumatized from the whole incident. And I said, well, how do you know that she's no longer alive? And he said, because according to his girlfriend, the Wells, both parents apparently had set something up because they owed a lot of money to somebody. And when it comes time to pay, Don couldn't pay. So they were actually directed to give not just Summer, but the youngest boy up for ransom. So it was both of them that were supposed to be given up. Something had happened that day and everything fell apart. It went wrong. And during the time that they were taken from the home, apparently, I don't know if he said it was at the house when this happened or if it was away, but when the boy and the girl realized what was happening, Summer apparently tried to run, and the little boy ran, and something happened to where Summer got hurt.
Now, the second 911 call is a little bit more, I don't know if it's a little more interesting, but it's definitely, it's a little bit odd. So let's listen to that one.
36, go ahead. 36, I know you're out at the ER. I just received a call advising there's two kids, approximately a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, standing on the side of the road. It's going to be right around the East Tennessee Iron and Metal, waving at cars as they go by. No adults are around. They're close to a blue house. 10-4, I'll get them when I clear here. 10-4, he's going on a patrol check of 2 children on 66 South, standing by the roadway with no adults.
This is potentially the gap of time that from approximately 2:15 in the afternoon until 2 hours and 47 minutes later. 2:15, 2 hours and 47 minutes, 5 p.m. A block of time that nobody has an explanation for.
I mean, this is only 23 miles away. So if we're talking about a possibility of someone getting in a car and going this way, this is the East Tennessee Iron and Metal. It's the first one's very weird because the ties to the red or the maroon truck, okay? The ties that, you know, initially when Summer Wells went missing, there was suspicion or interest around a possible red truck that was near 110 Ben Hill Road. This one, you know, that I think the first one is possibly more interesting, but because of the red or the maroon truck thing. The two people the two people on the side of the road, I think could just be a coincidence, but them talking about a possible, it says, I just received a call, approximately a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old standing on the side of the road around East Tennessee Iron and Metal, waving at cars going by.
Done some digging on my own and ended up in a little small town of St. Clair, Tennessee. Well, community, it's more of a community than anything. So, supposedly Candace went into this gas station in St. Clair the day Summer went missing. Done some talking to to an individual. Yeah, Mr. Patel's a really nice guy. I tell you, I looked around in there. But yeah, supposedly Candace went to this gas station sometime before they called 911 to report her missing.
All right, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna cover the Sancho. Yeah, baby. Oh, Donnie the Sancho.
Of course, everybody makes mistakes, but that's why I turned to YouTube was for help, and they all turned against me.
You should have turned to the Lord, homie. That's what you should have turned to. Should have turned to the Lord, away from Knoxville. That's all I'll say about that. Hey, Donnie, maybe next time you talk to Candace, ask her about St. Clair. Or maybe ask her about the 5-minute detour to the gas station where she went in the bathroom and didn't buy shit and walked straight out. And then shortly behind that, the TBI came by and got that footage, right? Ooh, yeah, bro. The TBI had came down to that gas station your wife was at. Yeah, that was when we knew she had actually left 2 times. We don't know how many times she left. She was by. That thing was a fucking upstate New York toll road. She's over here. She's over there. She's in the gas station in the bathroom for 5 minutes and didn't buy anything and didn't say anything to anybody. It's an establishment that she frequents quite regularly. I won't go into what the TBI agents told the lady who turned over the footage. But Robin Lane has heard something like the same thing she heard. And Robin Lane and the manager at the gas station, babe, they don't even know each other. Mm-hmm.
So be the case. Don't call my phone no more. Don't come to fucking Tennessee.
Bro, I'll come any motherfucking place I want. And I'll dare you to curl a hair on your ass with 2 probations, homie. For real. You barking up the wrong tree. Donald Wesley Brown, don't play with me. You can't even break bread where you live at. The fuck you gonna do with me? You can't even get yourself in order. The fuck you gonna do with me? St. Clair, yeah. Ask your wife about St. Clair, Don.
You little bitch, I'll fuck you up.
There. That's all I needed. Now when I see you, bro, I'm finna cut your hair, homie. Mm-hmm.
I'm taking a look at what if the interview from the other night where Mary was talking to the lab. And what if she knows something that she's trying to tell us? What if she knows that Summer's alive and that a despicable act of her father selling her happened? The lowest of low moments it would have to be to sell your own child. And that I've referred to the Wells property until the community that's been covering Summer Wells by a couple different phrases. An activity that I've always heard and come to know as a local happened. I've had a certain code or codes of phrases. One of them that I'm discussing and really talking about tonight is why I call it a trading post. I mentioned that there was a issue, or that I believe that they were runners. They did a lot of running. And I mean a lot. To try to gain favor. Drugs were trafficked through Ben Hill Road. There's a reason why Don says he knows who Playboy is. Playboy's a person in Knoxville. The one thing I assure everybody tonight is that none of this, if Mary is right, none of this was by accident. Part of the theory of what I believe happened is that there was something more nefarious planned for the 15th, but the sudden illness interrupted and caused everything to change.
This is Donald on his Facebook, speaking with a woman that he's been confiding in. And she says, "Who do you think took Summer?" He says, "Wish I knew. Got a 12 gauge ready." She says, "Was there anyone you owed money to, or that has maybe vanished from your life since Summer got taken?" Borrowed $50,000. LOL. And there's more. There's more. He goes on to explain that the $50,000, in his words, came from a quote-unquote Mexican mafia. He has paid them back 30, but he still owes them 20.
Well, Fred Hill, I don't want to say anything bad, but he, how can I say this? He starts to throw everybody off. Let's just put it that way. He's throwing everybody off, right?
Is there a possibility that Fred Hill could have done something?
It is possible. He left out about the time Summer disappeared to take off all that scrap metal. I don't know. It's possible.
When I come in at about 7 o'clock that evening, she done do all everything. Well, I was probably coming by 8.
But you had already been in.
The whole holler shut down,
You had already been in earlier that day, though, right? You were already in earlier that day, right? That's just when you came.
I've been here all day up to about don't know, probably about 5:30 or something there. And that's when I went out. And then I come back in and got my trailer to haul that motorcycle. So that probably put it around 6:30 or something, between 6 and 6:30.
So right before
I didn't see nothing, nobody right there.
Right when she was...
Nothing. At that time, you know. But when I come back in from the grocery store and taking that motorcycle, I ended up with another motorcycle on the trailer coming back with it, which is sitting out there. But, what was I saying, please? My mind went blank for a second.
You were saying how you went out when it was like just when you came back in at 7. You were about to say something about when you came back in at 7, and I asked you.
I think exactly.
You got grabbed the trailer and motorcycle.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how I want to say it, you know.
Oh, why?
Something. I don't want to word it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know if there was something you weren't supposed to say again.
I come in. Say I come in at 8 o'clock. Well, the hauler shut down. Well, I come on up here, and then I actually walk back down there.
So you saw Fred?
Correct.
When exactly was that?
It would have been before the actual foot search set off.
Before it got set off. Okay.
It was that dusky. It was almost to that dark point. They were fixing to go out on their search.
The first search.
Everybody was already split up into their groups. They knew where they were going. Everybody was just kind of getting their flashlights ready, about to break off.
Yeah.
You know, at this point, the road it's blocked off. There's nobody going in. There's nobody coming out.
Nobody coming out, yeah.
He was coming out of Ben Hill towards Beach Creek. Right there, I don't know, probably 15 foot from the driveway.
They had the road blocked off at the one fellow that you went down there and walked his property.
Andrew. Yeah.
It was right at his driveway. Is pretty much where.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily cruisers across the road, but you had, you know, parked up the side right there, and they had, you know, you had hundreds of people, you know, gathered in the road.
Yeah.
Where did he get turned around?
He backed all the way out.
Did he get turned around at Andrews?
It would have
He backed up, but like, you know, you went around that corner. Unless you walked all the way up there, you couldn't really see where he went.
You saw him at the second blockade near Andrews. Okay.
Yeah, so he came down in there like he was leaving. Obviously you couldn't. So he had to back out and get turned around, just go back to wherever he come from, his house or...
If you had to guess, pretty as best you can, I think I've asked several times, sorry.
You're fine.
The time that you saw him.
If you all went out on your search around that 8:30, 9 o'clock, this was probably about 8:30?
8:30 at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has blamed Fred. Yeah. And Fred done put the word up to him. You say my name again and he'll kill him.
Yeah, you know what? I don't talk about Freddie Hill. I don't know who Freddie Hill is. The only thing I know about Freddie Hill is I'm not going to say this because I don't want it up there. Scared of Fred? Yeah, I'm scared of Fred. Who the hell ain't going to be scared of him? Well, I ain't scared of Fred. I'm scared of Fred. I ain't scared of Fred either. Fred's very dangerous. He's a very dangerous guy.
Found out that old Cotton was dead.
Exactly. He's going to blame it on the dead man. Really? Wow.
Sometimes people will do things to get the, get the look off themselves. You know, blame it on a dead person. That's a good way to go about it.
Well, I'll guarantee you the detectives are trying to talk to him, but he keeps talking way out in left field somewhere. And that's why I want to beat his ass so bad. Because he could be the person responsible for Summer's disappearance. Because he got meth heads going in and out of our road day and night, all day long, all night long. And he could be the person responsible for Summer's disappearance. And he wants to sit there and talk crazy? The boy needs his ass beat.
You know, was Summer dumped in a storage area or junkyard.
So it's a horrific thought. It really is horrific to think that Summer was put in a car, taken to the junkyard, and then basically cars are crushed at the junkyard. I don't think it could actually happen. I don't think from the timeline it could happen. So let's run through the timeline. Now, we know that Fred and Laura were a little bit inconsistent with the timings. But what we do know is that the junkyard that they want to closes at 5, but it won't accept vehicles for scrap after 4, because, you know, they've got to be unloaded and positioned and da-da-da-da-da. Somebody said in my live the other day that they went to Jamie's Auto Parts in Church Hill, but I listened to Laura's interview again with Ziggy, and she actually named it, and it's Hilltop Salvage, which is kind of the north end of Kingsport, nearly in Virginia. And yeah, that closes at 5, but doesn't accept vehicles after 4. Anything's possible. Fred Hill being a serial killer technically is possible. Fred Hill killing Cotton Simpson because Cotton killed Summer, or disappeared Summer, is technically possible. Is it likely? No. I think it's more likely, honestly, that Fred got mad with Cotton because Cotton told him something horrible and that ended up with him dying. I think that's more possible, more probable, unlikely but still possible, and more probable than Summer being taken to the junkyard.
Truck in. Okay.
Scooby fucking doo. If not for those pesky meddling kids.
Back to what I do. Catfish, Billy, baby, hello, how are you? Yo, Power 9, rappers like a power line, fell into a swimming pool. I think I got the whole crew. Ooh, let me know what y'all wanna do. I bought a 30-pack of Creek water, baby boo. Not a 99, not a 99.99, not mine. I got 100 proof.
They're gonna be sorry they were ever born. Who? All of them.
Repetition, I'm stacking these trophies, I'm good with addition. I spit like a pastor, I give you the vision. Up early morning, enough of the sleeping. My life is a dream, but you wishing you lived it. Haters get livid, my pocket's Pacific, that's deep if you get it. So Tempur-Pedic, I sleep on the critics. Don't feel like competing, I'm hearing these crickets. Whoa, let me switch the flow, a new bounce. Coming to the den with a lion, I'm gon' pounce. Know I've been a king for a while, got a ring and a crown. That's the bling with the blow, what the team is about. Champions, you can tell by the ambience of this sound. Referee scream, rest in peace, and think twice if you never see me, it's no doubt. This ain't no regular thing, I came for the ring, you know what I mean. If you talking, it's hard to be nice. I play with all of my life.